All right, let's wrap up this section by just asking each of you if you can recommend some good reading, first for pastors on the doctrine of Scripture, and you've already done that, so no need to repeat the ones you've already mentioned. And then maybe just one or two recommendations for non-pastor Christians. So maybe higher shelf, lower shelf. Recommendations on the doctrine of Scripture, reliability of the Bible.
I think the volume of B.B. Warfield, Inspirational Authority of the Bible, is still a very good place for Christians to start.
Generally for pastors or for...
Pastors and for educated lay people. I don't think we should patronize lay people by saying we need to recommend simple stuff. I think B.B. Warfield
It is thick, though.
Sorry?
It is thick. There are plenty of pastors who haven't finished that.
Yeah, and shame on them.
Yeah.
So B.B. Warfield would be my starting point. There are a couple of very nice volumes edited, I think probably in the mid-'80s, by Don Carson and John Woodbridge. One of them is entitled
Scripture and Truth.
Scripture and Truth, and the other one is Hermeneutics, Authority, and Canon. There are a collection of essays by good biblical, systematic, and historical scholars on matters of interest that again would be useful for scholars. And of course there's Greg's recent book on the authority of Scripture. The more popular, we were talking earlier, there's a book by a guy called Oswalt, The Bible Among the Myths. It's about 150, 200 pages, published by...
I believe it's Zondervan, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a good introduction to that question of, well, the Old Testament looks like the Epic of Gilgamesh and these other kind of things. That's a good way, it's a good way into that issue.
Okay.
That would work either for pastors or for lay people.
Great.
I would just affirm the books he's talked about and just reiterate again with regard to the canon, the book by Kustenberger, and who's his colleague again?
Mike Kruger.
Mike Kruger. The heresy of orthodoxy, especially on the canon, which certainly is inextricably linked to this issue of the truth of Scripture.